Welcome to AYV Television on Channel 33 with a broadcast live from our studios, Natail, na Freetong, and we same way so they online na www.ayvnews.com with the broadcast on Channel 33 with a stream live on our Facebook page, Africa Young Voices Media Empire. Welcoming we viewers them right across the country and across the world, especially with people who are watching our Facebook page. Mina Amadou Lamgana Ba, and this is the program where they look at all the issues, politics, governance, the economy, development. As always, we talk to people, on their own role in the development of this country. People within in governance, they want they within in opposition, civil society, the media and business people, waiting are we all responsibility or waiting we they do now we corner them for ensure say salon better. And as always, as we can tell with people now Facebook page, we can agree for disagree. We always want the discussion for be very decent, responsible, and respectful. Everybody get their opinion on issues where we discuss in this program. It just means say we get ways the way they look at things. Everybody get to side and they support. But it don't mean say we for abuse we safe. So with the appeal to now, let me make we point them responsibly and respectfully. So we safe, we can then at the platform and the people who they get as guests as well at the program. So I can always say, we all want salon in better one. It just depends on which party you support or which individual you believe say go make salon better. So let we agree to that, we all are Sierra Leonean. So welcome to the program. Today we can talk politics, governance, salon issues generally. We get the pleasure for get with you inside the studios. Dr. Sylvia Olainka Blyden. I don't know if I can call you Sia Kisi.
Oh, yes.
Is that acceptable?
Oh, most acceptable. I'm very proud of that name there.
Okay. So I get Dr. Sylvia Olainka Blyden. We don't serve the previous governments and be special executive assistant. He also be minister in this country. And, the title and plenty. But I go to call and see Akisi for this program. And as somebody, you can't tell me about that name there a little bit, how we get that name there. But now we guess this for today, we can talk about a lot of things that we don't happen around, within the APC party, Dr. Sylvia Blyden and the, war in this country and all of that. Within in political ambition as well. And as always, we get politicians, then we can ask them what they think about what they happen presently in the country. Dr. Blyden, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much for having me, Amadou. It's a pleasure for the to back again.
We appreciate that you take your time for joining me, and you take me as one of the institutions that will break your silence. I see you don't advertise this program a lot. People can forward just the messages then to me. A lot of people when they ask me, so you're hosting Dr. Blyden, why you decide for come out now?
I think it's timely. I think the last time I came at this program just after APC lost elections. Mm-hmm. Say that 10-day, beaucoup APC politicians, and they made afraid. Nobody not get mind for going to television that 10 day. So I mean one green, they get mind that wear red clothes at Canada television and tell people then say, I get confidence. APC they come back, I get confidence. So that was the last time I came at this program. Yeah. And after that 10 day now, I mean also take up political activism because that 10 day, when the party just lost power, all man they scared. They may get them different people them where they can say, oh, these thugs, then they are, this, they are. Then people in the scared backseat and they can arrest them for corruption and this. So maybe get a clean slate. And because I mean get a clean slate, and me not afraid thugs at all. I'm never afraid thugs. Now,
who rather been get the thugs there?
The new government will just come.
They get thugs that we been they attack people.
Well, me see them, of course. Me they see them, they motorcar them, they paint, and they motorcar them, they not get.
And you not been afraid of them?
No, of course not. In fact, most young people that will become thugs. Now people that way, because the society can don't let them down. And most of them, you talk to them and get tremendous respect for me over the years. Whether not Arata, whether not Abravo, regardless of whoever the person, over the years, because I have been there for them. I don't date for them, I understand where they can get them challenges. So me no can afraid them. Then they call me mommy. So I not ever afraid them.
Okay.
So because of that, I'm not afraid them. Two, I'm not corrupt. I don't get no corruption until I'm afraid. So I mean they can have television and defend the APC legacy. very, very much so. The last time I can
na Fonti been there.
Exactly.
My colleague Fonti.
And I mean, for can defend the handing over notes of the former regime.
The former president.
Yeah, the former president of the you know, the handing over notes of the former president, for can defend them. Because of that handing over notes day, now the platform where I mean no say the APC get for Timapan.
Okay.
So I mean take them very seriously. Say we get for defend that legacy day.
Okay.
That was the last time I was here.
You know, you've been talking a lot about politics, especially within the APC and within on the happen within on a party. What are your assessment presently of this APC, where the time where you say, as you say, everybody being afraid, you come out and defend them? What are your assessments of APC right now? You think a party way formidable, una get that strength for able kind of power back because you've been there, like you say, you've been there, give people assurance, say una go come back na power?
APC is a very formidable party, and we don't prove that. How we prove them? The kind of suppression where APC go through from 1992 to 2002, the suppression where APC go through was massive. And for APC for able to bounce back from that type of suppression and become the government of the day, it's just in a party way resilient. It's just in a party way not go die out. And why that's not go happen now? Because the founding father, Sheikh Probin Stevens, the way he built the party, the way he may take the APC and institutionalize them all across Sierra Leone. It means any other time now in the future, the name APC, it not will die out. It is there. So I will get that confidence. They say the party get for come back na power. Now that make them they tell people then so when I get the confidence. But for answer your question about the APC as at now, which I will do, if we were able to come and win elections, the next governance. One thing where I will say tonight, very easily, is that the current government, the SIPP-led government of President Madabio, they don't make, with me on experience in governance, me on experience in elections monitoring, me on experience in political monitoring, they don't make so many mistakes that I don't see how then they win 2023 elections. I just not see them. How SIPP they win 2023.
Now APC they win 2023?
Wait, I can answer your question.
Okay.
They cancel. I just not see how then they able to win 2023 elections because the mistakes they don't make tremendous in Tuboko. They're not able, to me own experience, when me get, I don't see how the SIPP they able to overcome all their errors, all their mistakes, and convince the populace for vote for them back.
Okay.
So now the automatic answer will be is the alternative now the APC. Because these are the two dominant forces in Salone. But then the question comes, the APC will survive, it will continue to exist until 2023. And if the APC not exist until 2023, if there is no more APC by 2023, then waiting at the entity where we can take advantage of the lapses.
Let's get this clear, Doc. You foresee say the APC no go survive, no go be that party we go contest the 2023 elections?
Most definitely.
Why? Waiting to inform that statement?
Well, you see, a lot of people do not understand the seriousness of the problems with the APC they inside. The current APC hierarchy, the leadership, they know the problem, but then they hide them.
What's in this problem?
The problem is this, and I will talk on this night in Creole as simple as I'm able to explain them, especially for APC members they for understand, because then they out there, they don't really understand the danger with the party they inside. So that take me time and explain to them. In 1991, 30 years ago, this country, we the citizens, they agitate, say we don't tire with one party state. We don't tire with dictatorship. We say, people then can, for example, na Kareni district, na Kamakwe, or Mongo, Falaba, they don't choose who that they want for be the member of parliament, who that they don't give symbol. Because that's sending a one great party in the APC. And that party they give symbol to people them for go contest democratically. So it was a one-party state, but then they allow people them for contest democratically. So you will get a lot of people then come up, for example, in Mongo, where they want to be members of parliament. Then the APC at that Mongo level, that constituency level, then they meet, then they choose the one they will then forgive symbol to. So then you don't choose something and choose Amadou Lamra Nabad and get an APC symbol. Sylvia Olayinka Blyden and get an APC symbol. Then say, okay, now then 2 people here, and then go contest for Uda for win the elections. Then they can send the name, then go Freetown. But Freetown, they make waiting and call Central Committee. Now, this Central Committee means so powerful that they can don't choose Uda, the people in Mongo, then go don't choose Uda then want for contest. Central Committee, they can overturn all. He said, no. Una say una want Amadou Lamra and Sylvia Blyden for contest. No, we not agree. Now, Junior Navo, now they give symbol, and Professor Lako. Now, then 2, they go contest for now by force. And the people don't get no option because Central Committee don't decide na Freetown. So when President Joseph Saido Momo of blessed memory, that man in legacy in this country, people don't really understand how much that man they serve Sierra Leone when you with that constitution. Him and the Attorney General that thing when I mean Dr. Abdoulaye Conte, then travel all over Sierra Leone and they ask Sierra Leoneans then what thing they go want inside this new constitution. This new constitution, the people then say one thing where they want inside it. Now for make sure say nobody know they didn't have free tongue. We're so powerful that it overturn waiting the people they want now then various constituencies.
So that another person in the APC now where they overturn waiting people they want.
No, you got for patience and understand inside the danger they come with. So for another person, they listen carefully.
No, if you say the APC get a person, they will
just wait and listen. Wait.
Okay.
Just wait. Not a person, I say committee. They can get a central committee in a Freetown.
Okay.
The Central Committee in Freetown, they meet and take decision for overturn waiting they cannot decide upline.
Okay, now they ask now the APC get a committee they...
Wait, you know, if you're not patient,
okay, no, go ahead.
People don't understand.
Okay, go ahead.
This is a very serious danger now APC day in
go
right
ahead,
now.
Go ahead.
Allow me to explain, let people don't understand.
Go ahead.
Okay. So when they travel all over Sierra Leone, they may get one man with them called Peter Tucker, and I head the Constitutional Review Committee. The people then say one thing where we want, we not ever want a situation again where we get a political party inside this country, where the party structure, it gets one entity where so powerful na Freetown that entity they able overturn anything where they decide upline. Okay. So now that make we get a section of the Sierra Leone Constitution and APC comrades una listen carefully. Una leaders they know always that they can't tell una so this night and they hide them pa una. But una listen carefully. We get a section of the Sierra Leone Constitution, section 35(2). Where we put inside the constitution, we the people of Sierra Leone put inside there. Say any political party inside this country, will not they allow internal democratic practice, then for ban them. Okay. So now that APC they can face. Wait me. It's inside section 35 to clear one inside our constitution. And now we the people then say, what make we want them because we want make, who that they will they choose in now with different lower levels and for be we executives, for be we organizing secretary, with chairman, with secretary, is supposed to be elected by the people.
But Doc, you've been part of the same APC. We don't do selection. We don't select people.
I'm not giving each selection yet. Allow me.
I'm saying the point where you make now. No, the point where you make now independent in a democratic process.
Not but what am I? And they tell people they wait at the danger. And they don't just know. Give me another 3 minutes.
Okay. Go ahead.
It's very important people understand the danger.
Okay, go ahead.
Now, section 35(2) is very clear. Any political party will not they allow internal democratic principles, therefore ban that party. Then go further now, then create an entity where they call PPRC. That is Political Parties Registration Commission. That PPRC, they with the people them. All this while they tell us, so they're waiting with the people them in 1991. This PPRC now has the powers under what we call the PPRC Act. Any political party where one, it disobeys section 35(2) of the Sierra Leone Constitution. 2, it disobeys any section of the PPRC Act. Even if that party they don't register for the last 50 years, the PPRC get the powers for make an application to the Supreme Court of Sierra Leone for the immediate ban of that party. Okay. And the Supreme Court shall, in fact, not shall, not even may, within 30 days, no more than 30 days, if I look the application and he check if for true that party day, no follow section 35(2). And if the Supreme Court agree, say that party did not follow section 35(2), then they deregister the party, then they ban the party forevermore. That party did not the day again. And not only that they ban the party, then they they auction all the party in property them.
So that is what is about to happen with the APC?
The danger with the APC defending itself in right now, a danger where me personally, don't they raise alarm for many long period of time to the current leadership.
Okay, even the time we do selection, you raise then they are
in
like
fact, and no one go into the case within a court because some of what are the talks to now already they front the court.
Okay.
And you know, say they get this thing where something they front the court.
There's a contempt of court here, so not for court.
So no one go into what I can go to court. But what I can tell me, company APC comrades them is that the thing where can go to court, that the thing we get for save APC. That case where I can go to court, if you not look fine.
But would I want the register? Would I want to do this thing against APC for the register?
Nobody want to do, and now what the law say, now what the constitution say. It is not the kind of thing where you go say that somebody can do it. It can be, and it's so interesting. It can be an omolanke push herself down the government wife. It get the right.
For right.
For right, take PPRC say that party when all people's congress. Then now they go according to section 35(2). And PPRC supposed for act on that right where they right to them, whether they like it or not, they for act on them. So the danger now with the APC they face, where Ernest Bai Koroma, they don't lead the APC into that side where don't go so now. They don't care we're going to what you call an alleyway where not get exit.
So the point is the APC is not democratic in your own estimation.
Well, that is why I am saying the APC not supposed to forget the blame. We the ordinary members of the APC.
Now for take responsibility.
We not forget blame for the leadership, the lapses.
I want to ask quickly, what's your relationship with the chairman, former President Koroma? What's your relationship with him?
Well, first of all, I'm one of his biggest critics for now because I believe he don't single-handedly cause a lot of damage, not only to the APC, but even to Sierra Leone's democracy.
These are things you've said to him? These are things?
Of course. But you know me.
What's in a reaction? When last one I talk?
I think when my mother died, he sent condolence message by WhatsApp.
Okay.
But prior to sending condolence message by WhatsApp, I know me don't talk to them since I send them a message and tell them, say, we cannot continue like this anymore. Okay. This party, una know very well say, if una continue like this, then they ban this party. Because that's where we are going. They can't ban the APC. Nothing not going to stop under the Constitution. If they grab now, say that they ban the APC. And then what they do was so painful. When they go to court, when they sue, they go to court. Instead of they allow the court for proceed with the case, then go tell the court, say, yes, we constitutional democratic. So it's not in the records. Say the leadership of the party say the constitutional democratic. Then go make that kind of confession there.
But Doc, this is the APC that is trying to be very democratic. They say they don't get new constitution. They've gone to an emergency delegates conference, so they don't go adopt the constitution. And this was certified by even PPRC that they held elections, lower level elections, then go to McKinney, they meet. And is it not that the APC itself, that you're part of, is trying to be democratic, as you're saying? They've not been.
You see, that is the danger. For them to go and confess that they were not democratic. I've been talking to these people.
And they are trying to be democratic.
I've been talking to these people behind closed doors. And everything I told them not to do behind closed doors, now they don't can do now in public. They don't come publicly in a court and talk in a court say, we're not democratic. I tell them, say, the 1991 constitution of the APC, now go save this party. What do I mean? The 1991 constitution are the evidence where we get as a party for sure say we're a democratic party, we're innately democratic. In 1991, we passed a democratic constitution where every step of the way inside that constitution there is democratic. This was under President Joseph Saidu Momo. Produce this constitution that we evidence what will show if they try for deregister we. They have refused.
Are you in support of the revised constitution, the new constitution of the party?
I said it in court the other day that I didn't even look at it.
So is this about you not in support of that constitution? And you think, say, no, for support the whole process?
It is not the constitution that's the problem. You have to listen carefully.
No, but what I'm saying, no, but what I'm saying,
not the constitution
no, I don't get your point. You're saying the party not democratic.
I don't say so.
The party not they do things.
I don't say so. I said the party leadership don't go confess in a court say they're not democratic.
No, I piggyback on what you say earlier about the 1991 constitution give people empower for converge, not to one man they can't select certain people where they show democratic process. Now that's the reference. But the point why they make is, this is a political party where everybody don't say no, we need for review the constitution.
Who does everybody will say so?
A lot of the party members who went to McKinney, are they not?
Those people who went to McKinney.
Are they not party members?
No, those people who went to McKinney, these are the people who call Koroma friends and family.
But they are not APC.
They are APC, Koroma friends and family.
So Koroma get plenty party and friends, so they are not the always one.
You don't be president of Sierra Leone.
So they are not true APC. They are Koroma friends.
They are not. These are hand-picked Koroma friends and family.
But the PPRC certified the process of having lower level elections.
Why do you think the PPRC is in court as a defendant?
Okay.
It is this attitude of the PPRC. So that is why they are in court as a defendant.
So what's in our acts, as somebody who believes in democratic process, why not support the APC for being more democratic in this process where they want to?
I cannot accept. Listen, Amadou. The moment that leadership went to court on record and told the court that they were not democratic, then don't expose this party to serious existential danger. Okay. Because that is a confession that we have not followed Section 35(2). They should never have done that.
So if the APC is deregistered, President Bio is going to the 2023 elections. You don't think, say, the SLPP are going to win the elections without the APC?
Well, I started off, I tell you, say, the mistakes the way the SLPP don't make. Iboku. I don't observe elections in this country for over 30 years. I get tremendous experience. Now, this studio, I come, I predict to now the percentage where people then get forget. This very same studio. And exactly how I predict them, now so the percentage almost virtually come out. I have experience in elections.
Okay.
Are
you predicting a BO victory 2023?
I'm predicting a BO loss. He's losing the election.
Who is going to win?
But that is the problem. That is the issue now. Because there's going to, if you see, President Bio, whatever you might say about him, he's not a fool. This is a man where they go around and tell people and say, if he not go unopposed, he go get landslide victory. And people they misunderstand and they say, oh, that means to say, all the one they will get corruption case, he go knock them out, so they not go contest against them. No. Because come on, Uboku na APC will not get corruption case, so he's not able to knock everybody out. So the strategy that he might be looking at is a strategy of an APC that is deregistered. But then
another political party will emerge.
He has made he has made so many mistakes that the chances for the SLPP for convince the people of Sierra Leone for vote for them back in 2023, with my own experience when we get observing elections, I don't see how SLPP is going to be able to convince the people of Sierra Leone for vote for them back. Okay. So now there's going to be a vacuum if the APC is deregistered.
Okay. Are we talking about Dr. Sylvia Blyden presidential ticket in 2023? Is that what you're talking about?
No. Far from it. In fact, what did happen now? The struggle we are in right now, it is a struggle where anybody will get presidential ambition for 2023 is not good one. Because it's not selfless service to my party and to this country in democracy now, Depan. You have to shelve your own personal, because come on, everybody knows. If I wanted to continue being Madam Nice in the APC, I'm not pointing out all these mistakes, I could do it and continue being popular. But you have to look at the bigger picture. What's more important? Protecting the APC, protecting with democracy, or being...
I don't understand this analogy of President Bio winning in 2023. If the APC is not contesting, if the APC is deregistered, or even if the APC is...
And the chances of that, Amadou, make no mistake, under the law, the chances of the APC being deregistered, after Anes Baikoman, Usman and Sané, they don't go to court and confess, say, they're not being democratic. The chances of the APC being deregistered is very, very high.
So what is...
It's very high.
Who are going to win against President Bio now in 2023?
This is
If it's not you contesting.
No, how would I contest? Under what if the APC is deregistered?
But if you go form a political party.
No, it doesn't work like that. You know, just grab. In fact, most time you go put that clout today.
You say you are the most popular, one of the most popular politicians in Sierra Leone.
That's how people win elections.
No, I'm asking. I'm saying. But if you're a popular,
very popular,
if you're a popular politician, you can definitely win election.
You can be the most popular politician, and then you have them beat you by election. Bad one.
So if you contest 2023, the loss.
If you not get political strategies in place, if you not get financial support, because that is key, finances, money, you not get that in place. Elect popularity, elect the elected, the chances for making you win election slim.
So you are out of the ticket for 2023?
No, what I'm doing right now is a sacrifice for civil democracy.
Okay.
Because otherwise, they ban the APC.
Okay. Doc, quickly, we can't talk about the issues where they happen at the country, and that of there are a lot of things that we don't discuss between Dr. Blyden being part of, you know, I mean, they talk to somebody, I say, before the Canada program, I don't know how to introduce Dr. Blyden, whether it's Dr. Blyden who's been part of RUF as alleged.
No, don't say that.
Dr. Blyden.
No, you cannot say that. No, you cannot say that.
I say as alleged. As alleged, as reported.
No, I reject that.
Okay.
I reject that. Please
so
take it back.
No,
take it back. You can't say Dr. Blyden who has been part of
as alleged. No, I put allegation. No, Doc, I put allegation. No, it's not me saying.
You cannot introduce me like that.
No, I'm asking.
No, I vehemently reject
No, I'm asking. No, I make you. No, Doc, if you have Doc, if you allow me to say, you can listen. I'm saying there's been this report of your involvement in it. So I've been saying this is where Doc Nifo can clarify. So but you know, no, you're not listening. You know I'm listening. Allow me for saying.
No, I will not allow that.
No, Doc,
are you malicious allegation?
Are you part of RUF? Have you been part of the RUF?
Never.
So why you the vex so why they mention Doc and the RUF?
For you for
no, I'm not saying you. I'm saying alleged. I'm saying alleged. There are many people who were alleged to have been part of the RUF, and you've been alleged to have been part of it.
And I said no.
Yeah, so you have rights to defend that now.
But you cannot associate me because
I'm not saying me. This has been reports, Doc. There's been reports. There's been allegations. Even yesterday there were allegations from former Ambassador Lee. Write-up going around.
That said, all the write-ups they just brought it yesterday.
So I'm saying there's been an allegation that you.
And I've answered it is rubbish.
So I'm asking now, why should they associate you with the RUF?
Well, you have to ask them because all of these allegations they bring them up with nothing tangible that you can point at and say this is the tangible that we can show. Whereas when you look at the facts, you look at the dates, you look at the times, it doesn't make any sense. They would hear somebody would stay all the way in Holland, like a puppy, they back. Like Dr. Blyden, they begin RUF, and they cut people they earn, 1991. But then you look at the facts, 1991, where was Dr. Blyden? Dr. Blyden was in medical school in Freetown, well known in medical school in Freetown since 1989. So the tangibles just doesn't add up. But you get them, then they float this out, because they want to be me. They want for those
But this doesn't seem new, Doc. It doesn't seem new. It has been something. I can recall you and Olugodin gets a lot of fights in this country. There are things that have been said about you. The Tambayos, the Philip Neville fight. Why does this keep coming up? Why people continue for bringing this up?
Why do you have somebody who is such a strong woman able to survive 30 years in this country? It is because the person is tremendously righteous, upright. Imagine, like I said, just don't talk and so. Imagine 30 years and they throw all kind of allegations that one great woman is still they stand strong to the extent that when they don't throw it, then bogus allegations done. The then head of state, His Excellency Ahmad Tijan Kaba, he raised me right up front there. All it's a come at the national honor, which is not an honor that you give to somebody who is of the pedigree they were trying to give to me. So the reason why these things come up is because I'm a strong woman. And I'm a strong woman with pedigree. I'm a strong woman who is very, very politically conscious. And I have a focus on my ambition. So now you have these people who, they don't use Sam. For make woman, they get mind for can't challenge man, with the man talking, self answer. They don't use Sam. So for them...
What was your involvement with the RUF?
Nothing at all. None at all. It's just bogus.
You didn't work with anyone in the RAF? Nobody?
Never at all. Nothing. It's just bogus.
You didn't help the RAF? You didn't help Sierra Leone to broker peace with the RAF?
Well, that's the one I revealed yesterday night, and I would take my time again and reveal it today. In 1998, we were in exile in America. Most of us, I would say, top politicians. I was probably the youngest amongst all of them. Next to me would be the late Hassan Benzin Touré, and then the gentleman now who was majority leader, both school, Honorable Ibrahim Bundu, who were like the younger ones. I was the youngest of them. You had people like the Speaker of Parliament now, Dr. Abbas Bundu. At the time, he was the leader of a party called the PPP. Then you had the main opposition leader. He was also in exile. That was Honorable Dr. John Khalifa Smart. He was in exile he was the main opposition leader. Then you had the leader of the APC, Honorable Edward M. Touré, Uncle Eddie, who was also there with us. You had the then Electoral Commissioner for Almami Sila, who conducted the 1996 elections, one of the commissioners, and he now had political ambitions of his own, and he was also with us. So we had many of us who were in Washington, D.C.
Okay.
And we aligned ourselves. We were fighting for peace to return to Sierra Leone as against the military option.
Okay.
Because you had people who were telling Tijan Kaba that the rebels can be defeated militarily. Just send Alpha jet bombs and bomb people and kill people. And Sani Abacha, the then head of state in Nigeria, wanted to clean up his image because he may don't kill people then like Ken Saro-Wiwa, he may don't kill people then he was a dictator, and he was trying to clean up his image. So he see the perfect opportunity in Sierra Leone.
Okay.
If he can at Sierra Leone and he pretends say he helped Tijan Kaba for restore democracy, then the world go encourage him, and for him it was a perfect opportunity for cleaning image. So we aligned with the Nigerians and the real Democrats, they went on Nigerians in Washington, D.C. Myself and all these leaders, Dr. Abbas Bundu, Dr. Khalifa Smart, Honorable Eddie Touré, all of us were aligned with these people. When Sani Abacha suddenly died in Nigeria in 1998, June, just suddenly died, just like that, he just died. At that time, Obasanjo had been in jail for 3 years in Nigeria. When Sani Abacha died, the new head of state released all these political prisoners and then the new head of state in Nigeria opened up the democratic process. Obasanjo came Washington, D.C. for meet Sierra Leone, for meet Nigerians and also meet different people then. Get meeting with the Sierra Leoneans there. I was not present. Everybody who was present was from the north and from one tribe, the Timini tribe. So Obasanjo was not impressed with the fact that everybody they go complain to her about the then SIPP being tribalistic was from one tribe.
One tribe, okay.
So the Nigerians then called me and said, Dr. Blyden, why you not come this meeting today? If you mean come, it mean for help the situation. Because you are from the western area and you are not a Timini. That would have made him know that this is a more broad-based opposition. So that is how I met Obasanjo. And from that point on, he was so impressed with me. You know the things that say they be head of state, they be president at the name, just don't come out jail. That we created a relationship that's almost like a family relationship. Myself, his wife, and me, all the time we're going to talk.
Okay.
Now, when then Tella now say for contest for the president in late 1998, early 99, I helped him to develop his website, www.obasanjo.com.
Okay.
And the week for the elections, we may get some urgent information for putting at this website for strategic reasons. But the information in Nigeria, not so like now we can get WhatsApp and stuff. It was 1999. So the only other person who had it was Obasanjo's son, who made it all the way up Baltimore. From my house, Maryland, for go up Baltimore, 1.5 hours. These are the take me time for test Sierra Leone and say, let them understand.
Yes, we need for do them fast because of time. Time really the question.
Maybe we forget a special program for
No, we go continue no more. Let people go understand. And especially when I create you to explain.
Yeah.
So what in our we know how you come involved into RUF business.
I'm not involved in RUF business. I just want to take my time explaining how I involved in the peace process.
How you involved in the peace process?
Yes.
But it was with the RUF, no?
No, no. This.
But the RUF was involved, no?
Well, maybe you will allow me for land.
Okay, go ahead.
So I had to drive all the way to Baltimore. You know, and it take me time for Sierra Leoneans. They made them know where divine intervention can take place, where God he wants something to happen. God may want peace for Kana Salone. I went up to Baltimore, collect his book from Benga Obasanjo, Obasanjo's son, get dinner, it's getting a bit late, drive inside my motor car, they drive down back to my house. As they reach the junction of Virginia, because you're inside Maryland, but you get road where you come up from the foreign state of Virginia. Before the ring, I'm in motor car. What do they call me? My cousin. Elaine Gaba. Why Elaine they call me? You say, oh Sylvia, you mean they say they can't visit me. This me guy will come out London, don't come visit me. He go finally you sabi him. Because Elaine and I were close. I just said to me, wow. Elaine just they call me just at the moment where I didn't at this Virginia, Maryland junction. Okay, let's just drive go see this boyfriend we come out London. Drive go meet Elaine house. Because of the importance of the book, I don't want to risk for left arm inside the motor car. So I hold the book in my hand. I go inside Elaine's house. The book writes boldly letters to Obasanjo. So I enter Elaine's house and introduce me to this boyfriend we come out from London. What's the boyfriend name? Oluni Robin Coker, the former Minister of Energy who was here. So I mean, remember the name Oluni, I mean the Robin, but very vaguely. But one thing will come out clearly, Oluni was very much interested in the book, the title of the book. It was like, Obasanjo. I say, yes, I know him. He's like a dad, he's like an adopted. He said, you know Obasanjo? I say, yes. I even call me answering machine and I also play the answering machine voice where Obasanjo and his wife, they made a check on me when they can get me, then they left message just for making know how we close. Now they laugh and say, because the elections was that week in Nigeria. Now they laugh and say, if now we they can't get presidencies under Nigeria, you know, just laughing. The election, I go to host, put all the information from the book, put it on the website. Elections were conducted in Nigeria. Obasanjo win by a landslide, 60-something%. The man win the elections, no debate. He was now in charge because he
now I get power now.
Well, I don't say Una, but he was now in charge.
Well, he was your friend.
No,
he was your dad.
Yeah, almost like a dad, indeed.
Okay, so.
And he was like in charge of, he was in full control of Nigeria.
You were this powerful in the region. I understand, so you even get relationship with Charge, eh?
Well, what do you mean by relationship? He was like a brother to me.
It's brotherly in a relationship.
Well,
isn't that a relationship?
Indeed. I'm still very powerful in the sub-region. I can tell you that for free.
And you can win election if you want to contest it.
When the time reach, when God in time reach, God will make the way.
Okay, Doc.
But back to this thing.
So now you have
the only connection is that after Obasanjo win these elections, Elaine, my cousin, called me. He said, oh, my boyfriend want to talk to me on the phone. I said, waiting. He said, something to do with Salone. So, okay. Hand over the phone to Oluni. What is it? Oluni says, Doc, he said, I don't say you close to Obasanjo. He said, is there any way you were able to connect? He said, because the peace process in Salone don't stall. Is there any way you were able to connect for make me brother when I in the take the RUF the peace process? This was now Omri Goli, now in the talk about. He said we don't go the American government, the State Department, then they fully with Omri, London, Whitehall, the London Foreign Office, then they with Omri for the peace process. ECOWAS Secretary General, then they with Omri for the peace process. He said, but the one person when
this is Omri Goli who was RUF as well.
Yes, at that time Omri Goli was the RUF legal representative.
Okay, was the one you were to help and connect with?
I never knew him at that point in time. Okay. Oluni himself, I don't even know Oluni. And through my cousin Elaine, I don't even know Oluni. Oluni is now asking me, please, for the peace process in Salone, if where they were me able to talk to Obasanjo, because Obasanjo now is going to be the president, he don't win the elections, they're going to swear him in as president of Nigeria, and he will be in control of all the ECOMOG force in Sierra Leone.
Okay.
And whosoever is in control of the ECOMOG force in Sierra Leone can bring peace to Sierra Leone.
Okay, so you get connected to this whole issue about peace na Salone to Oluyini, to Omri Goli, and how did it end? How did it end?
Well, basically what happened, as I tell you, this was divine intervention. This now God used me for peace na Salone. Because without me, Mindena, the picture that 10 day. As I tell you, I say I'm driving from
So it's safe to say that you bring peace na Salone?
Well, in one way, I can easily say that one of the reasons we make I get the confidence, say I go be president of Sierra Leone, that the selfless sacrifice they want to make, the way God used me for selflessly serve the peace process na Salone. I just get the belief, say God.
So we should add that to Dr. Blyden, that's not the person we bring peace na Salone.
But I'm not saying that the person bring peace, but I was the conduit. I was the person where God used for connect, for make sure, say, because that day the president of Nigeria, Olusegun Obasanjo, there was no way he was going to start talking to Omri Goli. There's no way he was going to start bringing the Sierra Leone crisis that prioritize the way he prioritized, because he prioritized. If we get peace in Sierra Leone, Obasanjo.
You in any way meet with Foday Sankoh?
Of course.
Was there any relationship?
Well, it depends on what you mean by relationship.
Anyone where you can go and explain. What was your relationship with him?
There's no relationship other than the fact that when they're ready for sign the first document, which was I think the Lome ceasefire, because of the role one we don't play for make sure say these two sides then talk, I went to Lome. I met these people.
You were part of the process now?
No. I went there on the day they had to sign.
Okay.
I flew Jesse Jackson.
In what capacity?
In my own capacity, as I say, that's what I'm telling you, that my own funds, my own capacity, my own interest. I tell you, say, I get the full conviction.
So you go be president?
I just know that.
When? How soon?
When God's in change.
Okay.
I know. And if you look at my life trajectory.
With APC? Is it with APC or other political
APC is my party.
Okay.
And if APC survives this turbulence where Anes Baikoma they don't put you inside, these existential threats when they don't expose
well,
you
if they register APC, you go be president na APC na party.
Well, God will make the way.
Okay.
No, so?
Okay.
So if then deregister APC,
you go get other party.
Well, God will make the way. There will be a way. That's why before they deregister them, I don't rush for intervene now.
Okay, load on quick on this REF. So I've been asked, you know, without you say you fly cam and you help in the process. How did it end? How the whole process or your involvement ended in all of this?
As soon as first of all, when I got this Obasanjo to take these people seriously and get the peace process on track, get the Lome Peace Accord to be signed and everything, there was later a bottleneck where one of the factions, the Johnny Paul faction, say, you know, they can't Salone. For start no peace process. Past they pull all the people then at Kailaon, they made Buedu, almost in captivity in the REF they and I had to again get involved for make sure, because Johnny Paul said, you know, they can't free on, you know, they start no peace process unless they pull in wife. His wife was in Makuta, was in captivity in REF. And a lot of politicians where they may run away from Freetown. When the SIPP was restored back in 1998, they run away from Freetown, and when they reached Kailaon, they were basically now in captivity in Kailaon. So Johnny Paul wanted these people free, and I played a role for these people to be flown by helicopter, Nigerian helicopters, for bringing camp to Monrovia, so that they could all come now to Sierra Leone for the peace process for start. And these were people like Victor Bokari Fo, W.J. Smith, Cecil Osho Williams, Hilton File, Maila Yansane. These are top APC people.
Okay.
I played the role to ensure who knows what might have happened to these people.
Finally, on this talk, is it safe to say you were not REF? You
never,
were not
I was never REF.
But you worked with the REF to bring peace.
I don't work with no REF for bring peace.
But Gali was REF. Now you connect them. How you
is that working? No, that is God using me as a conduit for Obasanjo for listening to waiting and they say is what they need to get peace. I'm just a conduit.
So apart from you connecting them and maybe organizing a meeting, you know.
I don't organize no meeting.
How Obasanjo meets with?
They never meet. Now, well, I mean, they would probably have met eventually, but it was a phone call. We wanted to explain to Obasanjo what are the stumbling blocks. Obasanjo says to me, Ola cannot give them a phone number. But if you want me to talk to them, you can put them on your phone and I will talk to them on your phone. Okay. And that is what happened. So I'm there.
So you're not being the mediator?
Well, I can't be mediator, conduit.
Okay.
God used me. God chose
You have no regret?
Of course not. In fact, I'm very proud of it.
Okay.
And that is why I remember when Tijan Kaba was giving me the national honor, because Tijan Kaba is fully aware of this.
Okay.
When he was giving me the national honor, I was the youngest person ever in the history of Sierra Leone to be given the national honor of Officer of the Order of the Rokel.
That year, day?
No, the entire history of Sierra Leone.
Up till now?
No, now President Koroma Midongi, this young
Kelvin
lawyer.
Doe.
No, Kevin Cole, not national honor.
You mean Kaba? Lawyer Kaba?
Lawyer Kaba, yes. Lawyer Kaba has now, because President Koroma gave Lawyer Kaba a national honor. The young boy Kevin Cole received a presidential award.
Yeah.
A national honor, this is the nation they honor you. Not a presidential award me get to, me a national honor.
So now don't be two now. You and Lawyer Kaba now.
No, Lawyer Kaba now gets the title, I would say, because now I think he was 32.
Yeah, he was around that. Yeah.
I was 35. I was the youngest. So that sends a message out. Tijan Kaba was trying to tell the people of Sierra Leone, this lady is a heroine.
Okay.
And I am a heroine. I'm very proud of myself.
Okay. Well, that's not the story of the allegations of Dr. Blyden involving in RUF. It don't make it clear now the program today. We get Dr. Sylvia Blyden. They can discuss still issues around governance and politics. Quickly, let me watch this video. Usai, former President Koroma, address members of the APC. Then we can continue the discussion.
APC. You know what you make at the show now, all the money? All them problems at this party, now they were responsible. If after this convention, anything go wrong, believe you me SSF, I go lead a jihad where can go against any other man. Because the party don't time, not so. When I don't time, not so. When I don't have problem again, not so. Yeah, when I take.
President Ernest Bai Koroma been the address members of the APC na the party office na Makenusa them gets the emergency conference on some months ago or so where the court be ordered them forget. Dr. Blyden, you know Munku politician? Do you consider yourself one as a party and chairman? You know which kind of politician?
Me na Wheezy Week politician. Wheezy Week.
Okay.
Wheezy Week politician, a politician when what you see is what you get.
Okay.
In contrast to Dakadeke politician. Dakadeke politician.
What are Dakadeke now?
Yeah, Dakadeke politician, a politician way not a Wheezy Week.
So Usai former President Koroma, the party chairman, Usai Indi? Between Dakadeke, Wheezy Week and Munku, Usai Indi?
You know, President Koroma a unique politician. He gets unique traits. Them, he get the own show politics traits. He gets the hidden political attributes them. And it gets some traits that will make it not able for manipulate a lot of things them over the years because of their skills.
Well, I don't support Tampa. Things like there are these things you've supported him to do to manipulate.
Well, in politics, really, some things you enjoy the game. You know, it's then we talk one side, say, well, this is a Calbante business. You know, you enjoy it, and it's a game.
Okay.
You know. Sometimes you see that, no, this game here now, this is war. I'm not part of this game.
So you know I'm be part of a big
and
game.
you would protest that, no, this is not. Sometimes you will protest privately. And then you find out, say, the private protest, the person still not listen. Then you go public with the protest, if not for the greater good. But in politics, most times you got to support the leader. Most of the time, you have to support the leader. But when the leader begin go astray now, the ship they go and sink, the train they can wreck. They used to sit inside, they still the clap. No, that is not.
Do you still consider, let me read this quickly. On October 23rd, 2020, you wrote on your Facebook page, you say, back in Freetown after 3 lovely days in McKinney City, during which I met stakeholders like my sister, the McKinney Mayor, Sunkari Kabakamara. I also advised McKinney youth on how to monetize their ICT skills globally. Most importantly, I got to hang out with my big brother, the former president, Dr. Ernest Bai Koroma, who graciously hosted me at his house for all 3 days that I spent in McKinney City. You still consider Una party chairman, former President Koroma as your brother?
No way.
Not your brother again?
No way. There's no, I mean, come on.
Hey, how the family scatter?
Well, it was first of all, his adopted brother. So, adopted brother, not a permanent brother. I mean, it's like when they can say blood is thicker than water. That one is, you are related. The equity you do say you are relations. So, but in this case, this is somebody who is like, you adopt as a brother, and you see that the perception that you had is not a perception that is worth continuing to call this person brother.
This is like 1 year ago when you call him brother. Almost exactly 1 year ago.
In 3 days.
So what's in scatter this relationship? What's in scatter this relationship?
Well, I'm not going to say waiting, but waiting them. There's a lot. There's a lot of things. And one of the reasons why I actually even, I mean, to say drive go McKinney. Of course, he invites me when I myself drive myself go there. Nobody not drag me go there. I myself go there. And one of the reasons why I went was because I was trying to like salvage, you know, if you have built a relationship with somebody for over years, it's not something you just say, well, just give up everything, and try to make an effort to salvage and see. And that was an effort along those lines. But what can happen now subsequent to that is you now realize that this man is under so much blackmail that he's willing to destroy the party and everybody.
Let's get something clear. Is he blackmailing people? Is that what you see?
He's under blackmail.
Okay. People are putting him under blackmail so that he could destroy our party. Is this about your ambition, that he's not supporting your ambition, or he's not ready to?
What ambition have I ever told him about?
No, you want to be president. It's very clear.
No? I've never said that the time is ripe for me to be president. Come on, to be president, there are certain things, there are certain structures that have to be in place. And I have never put any of those structures in place yet. You have the ambition, you want to be president, but it's not something you just grab today, tomorrow, and you're president. No, it is something.
Is this personal? Is it something personal between you?
It's not personal. Everything has to do with the democracy of Sierra Leone. That's the splitting point. You to my mind, and it is unfortunate I will have to limit the extent to which I can talk, because he's not here, and nobody not deny for defend them.
Everybody always gets opportunity. Everybody gets opportunity for defending themselves in this program.
No. He's not here. Nobody not deny when I'm spokesman, we're able to defend them.
Okay.
So it is unfair for me to go into nitty-gritty of it.
Okay.
What I can say is that when I realized that he is willing, because he's under blackmail, and I think everybody in a salon passes one the way hypocrite. But all man don't read the Commission of Inquiry reports. These are equivalent to High Court judgments. And every single one of the Commission of Inquiry reports indicted him. He's now appealing against those indictments. But the fact remains that they're equivalent to High Court judgments. and he's been indicted for criminal activities. It's there.
Are you implying that he's corrupt? He's a criminal?
I'm not implying. I am saying what is in the report.
Or are you saying? You're not implying. You're saying.
I am saying this is now. Listen, a Commission of Inquiry report is now part of Sierra Leone's legislature. It's now part of Sierra Leone's judiciary. It's now part of Sierra Leone's executive. It is a unique entity that cuts across the three arms of government.
But this is someone you believed in. You walked with him. You believed him.
Hold on. And the report now cuts across the executive, the judiciary, and parliament. And so this is now a statement of fact. So this is not an issue of Dr. Blyden's opinion.
Okay.
If I'm your opinion, if I'm your opinion, I will now limit my opinion until somebody is here to defend him.
Okay.
What they say now is a statement of fact. The Commission of Inquiry report, the three of them, the Bankole Thompson report, the William Anan Atuba report, and the Biobele George Will report, every single one of them, equivalent to a High Court judgment, seriously indict Ernest Bai Koroma.
But there are people who've been indicted in that same report, who've been to the court, then win their case. The Minister of Finance now is one example, and other people.
Perfectly so, but until such time as they win their case, they are indicted. And the fact remains that as me and you see so now, now the 1 year this for me Ernest Bai Koroma don't appeal. No action has been taken yet to clear his name.
The Ernest Koroma you know that you worked with as special executive assistant, that you worked with as Minister of Social Welfare and Gender, do you agree that he is corrupt, as alleged?
Well, he will have to go and clear his name.
No, I'm asking you. What you think? This is somebody you've worked with. You know him.
Well, one thing I can tell people is that they need to go and read those reports.
Doc, I understand. I understand the report. So I'm asking your own assessment of him as an individual, somebody where you work with, you served him.
We are speaking about a report here.
Yes, no, I understand the report. I'm not asking on the reports now. The report is clear.
Okay, you want my opinion?
Oh, your opinion on it. What do you think about him?
I don't want to give any opinion on Ernest Bai Koroma when he's not here.
No,
no, hold on, Amadou. Let me land.
Okay, go ahead.
I don't want to give an opinion on Ernest Bai Koroma when he's not here to defend himself. You not get a spokesman I have for defend them, and then I can give an opinion. All I can do is make a statement of fact. And the statement of fact is what is in the report.
The former President Koroma you worked with, is he an upright man, somebody that is not corrupt?
Once again, I will not be Lord. You not go force me. For can't talk about Ernest Bai Koroma.
No, I don't force you for I just say your assessment. Like I go say, like somebody will work with you. Go say, no, that person has to be against integrity. No, but do you believe he's someone with integrity?
I will not answer. I'm not go answer. Any question.
But you don't call her names now. You don't say things about Ernest Koroma. You don't call him jihadist. You don't call him. You don't say. You don't talk. No, I'm saying now you now you social media handle.
We get a professional program now.
No, now you social media handle. I'm saying
you force me.
No, but what I'm saying.
Campwell, you program in professionalism.
No, I'm not saying. Not so. Another look. I'm just asking. Like say somebody where you work with, you go know him personality. You go say yes, I know he's an upright.
A professional media program.
Okay.
I'm not going to say anything about opinion of somebody when not there for defending himself. I'm not going to do that.
So presently, what's your assessment of Ernest Koroma as chairman of your party?
I'm not going to answer because nobody not there for defend them. So if I can't talk something just where nobody not there, it is unfair to him.
So the video will play just what do you think of our main statement?
Amadou, if nobody not there for defend Ernest, I can never give any opinion which might be negative because it's unfair.
No, I'm not saying you should say something negative. You can say something positive. It's allowed. No, but what I'm asking, what I'm asking as well is, he was addressing members of the APC in that statement. I've seen you tweeting a lot about that statement, around that statement. Waiting are your assessments or waiting are your reaction to that statement specifically?
Amadou, tweeting is one thing. Conducting a professional media interview is another thing. You get to realize, say, this is not a professional media interview.
Yes.
For me, I can't talk anything. I mean, tweeting is one thing. You tweet. Like
no, I'm asking you now as a member of the APC who watched your chairman and leader making a statement generally about the problem within on a party. He called people and identify them. He said, "Oh, the problem then at the party, and they play Munku politics." And he said, if they continue to do this, instead go lead a jihad against them. What do you think as a member of this same party?
And as by Kurman Odinaya, in spokesman Odinaya, person Odinaya for defend them, they can't they can't tell you what you think.
No, Doc, it's like you the mystic question. I'm not asking you for talk about Ernest Kuman's personality. I'm asking about, as a member of a party, is your chairman, he has identified a problem. He say, now the problem, this not the party. I'm asking what you think about what he say in statements, not about in personality they ask you about. Not waiting and Ernest Kuman, who is Ernest Kuman, what is he about? I'm asking about what you think about the statement, about people and where you identify as the people who are causing problem in your party.
Once again, any attempt for tell you what I think about that statement by Munku and jihadists on a professional media program, where in all day is unfair.
Who is the problem within the APC? Who do you consider the problem within the APC?
Well, the APC is a party with multiple facets. No political party not in the world will not get problem. And no political party not in the world will not one great problem you get. So for say, who that you think is the problem, me to say, you don't box the APC and the thing to say that just one great problem. No. The APC get multifaceted problem. And I don't tell you the one problem where the constitution situation will offend ourselves now.
Apart from that,
the existential threat will offend ourselves.
Apart from that, what else? What do you think say now the other thing where they affect the party presently or go affect the party in coming to the elections?
Well, let the party survive first. Maybe not deregister. Maybe not ban with us. Because now I don't go to court. I'm going to court for save this party. Because if I'm not going to court and make their application in day.
Are you taking this case on your own now, or you still live with Alfred Peter Conte?
I don't do with Alfred Peter Conte. What thing I do, and I'm going to be very careful here because this case.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the case. Yeah.
What thing I do, if you get a strong case that we want to present to the judiciary, and something similar already they front the courts, something similar, and then not go into the merit, the substance of that something way similar day, the courts give you rights, give you powers under the High Court rules, order 18, rule 6B, 2II. It gives you that power there. Say you can go front that court there and say, the way how this case here they go right now, I guess something was similar to waiting this case they go on. But where this case not handled that particular thing they hate, but it related to this thing. So then they do. After Peter Conte in case, look at yonder. He did it. He's done very well. He's done a very good job in case. But in case not take up the most important issue we will save the party from an existential threat. So I confront the court now for ask the court, say, do you I get something where I need for can tell you now, where similar to this case within the court. So I not can join Alfred Peter Conte. I get me on case. But instead of I go file a brand new case, and you see, I hear some people and then when they say, oh, now fresh issues, fresh matters. That better not be the case, because if it says na fresh matters, then it means they give me authority now to go open a brand new case against the same defendants there, which would be a brand new case, because you don't confess in a fresh matters. So instead of that when they happen, you allow the fresh matters to be part and parcel of whatever it is where this fresh matter they come for tell the court say look into this. So it's not a matter of because the people say, oh, Alfred Peter Conte say let not join up. Yes, of course he would say that, because my case not so in case.
And something I read now that in lawyers and they say they want to speed up this case and for end and quick. Don't you think you know, taking your party to court will stall a lot of process when the time forget, where the party the time forget about reforms? You don't think, say, these are things you can handle internally and address within your party?
If we may able to handle that internally, to God we need in a court by now.
But are you the one carry the party go court?
No, the point remains that I don't tell you. If I not care, if I not me filing papers then they, the chance for me to ban APC very high.
Which all them good lawyer the way APC gets, they not able to understand.
Not a lawyer business. This is a constitution business.
Yeah, but the lawyers could understand the constitution and advise the APC. APC get lawyers there. So you're not the smartest to able to pick this up and for save APC from being deregistered?
I will not say I'm the smartest, though. But one thing I would say is I'm very smart.
Than those lawyers that are representing.
I'm not saying I'm the smartest. But one thing I would say is I'm very smart.
That you can pick this up and they couldn't.
But I don't say that either. And I'm not going to say that.
Okay.
But one thing me go say is that I am very smart. And I'm also politically savvy, and I get experience in constitutional issues for 30 years now. Salon Constitution, I will lobby for her. I was a student activist. I will lobby for put something away inside there right now. So we know what it says, what it does not say.
Okay.
So I will not say I'm smarter than this or I'm smarter than that. But what I'm saying is that the party right now, they face serious existential threat because of waiting the leadership. And when I say leadership, also Ernest Bai Koroma alone. The leadership, not the entirety.
Do you think he's been providing that leadership? He's the chairman of the party. You think he don't able to provide that leadership within the party?
Again, you want to forget me for can't talk about this man.
No, I'm asking that. No, not leader, not to defend. No, they ask you now as the party chairman and leader. If you not like, I go ask somebody if you think say I got to ask you about President Bio in leadership as well. Right? So you go tell me say you don't talk about President Bio back as the president of the country. I'm asking you in the capacity as chairman and leader of una party. You think say you don't provide the leadership where the party need?
The party as at now gets serious existential threat with the FACEM.
Okay.
And why that come about is a failure of leadership.
And that's not President Koroma will provide the leader. Former President Koroma will provide.
When you limit the leadership to only President Koroma, then you miss sight.
But who should take responsibility?
Hold on. When you limit the problem to only President Koroma, you miss sight of what's at the problem. This problem is a problem that is a leadership problem.
Okay.
And leadership is to one person.
But there is one person who leads.
Well,
we should take responsibility.
You see, when you take, like me now, I talk to a room full of people who make up the leadership of the APC. I tell them the dangers where they don't cause. And I tell them what to do for make sure that this danger will come up and this danger. And every single one of them allow me for enter this danger we don't enter. So now, you want me to blame just one man? No, it's the leadership. Okay. Every single one of them.
Do you see the APC getting out of this soon, ahead of the 2020 election?
With my intervention to save us in the court, if you see, I tell people then this, and I will say I'm back in this program. Me, they fed two powerful forces in this country, all alone right now, for save democracy.
Good at that.
And history, I say forces, I not say person.
Okay.
I say two powerful forces.
Okay.
And history, you know, history gets a way where it can look back at something. And history can put everything into perspective. When history go, they look back at this period, then go really, really admire the strength of character why don't survive at this particular point in time.
What's in them forces there with the
Me alone, the force of the APC hierarchy we get their own agenda with the contrary to waiting supposed to be the APC agenda. And me alone,
what's in the agenda though?
I just don't tell you so. Wait a land.
Okay.
And me again, the force. When at the government of the day, which is the SLPP Julius Maada Bio led government of the day.
Okay.
Me alone. And in the face of these two powerful forces, when me alone defeat, I've been able to stand very tall, very strong, to the extent that if I get people in the SLPP where they say, now game Sylvia they play, where they make say they fet Ernest Bai Koroma, now game then they play na APC, then they fet themselves na game. Then you have people in the APC where they talk say, all what you see Sylvia they do so, now Maada Bio they use.
They are endorsing the Bio's presidency.
No, they say na Maada Bio they use me against them.
Oh, okay.
So these are two powerful forces, me alone, both of them knowing that what in Sylvia they say correct, and both of them convinced that the other side, they use Sylvia in this type of manner. History go come, you go look this particular period in time, and you go wonder, say, what woman was this?
Doc, we get a gender bill within on table now, Parliament. Are you in support of that?
To be candid, I have not seen it. Nobody has consulted me. It is most unfortunate. I was a former gender minister. And I was not only gender minister, but I think I was the gender minister who brought the issue of rural women, that is women in the provinces, brought the issue of rural women to the fore. So what do you mean that happened before I go to the ministry? When they say woman business, then don't say gather themselves. So free tongue na ya. If you tap na free tongue, but you come out Kailaun, then say you can represent Kailaun. You tap na free tongue, but you come out Potloko, then say you can represent Potloko. That's what used to happen.
So you decentralize?
Oh yes, oh marvelously too.
Okay.
And something interesting has happened. When they do the development of this gender bill, the new minister, you would imagine, like me, when I was minister, I paid homage to Shalibu Jama as the minister before me. I paid homage to Haja Musukande as the female, the female ministers before me on gender issues, on women's advancement issues. So you'd imagine that somebody like this, like you know, like me, like who come out from different party, if I reach out to me and say, oh, Dr. Blyden, you know, I'm a minister now, and you did such a good work with women, especially the women in the provinces. What's your thoughts about this bill?
Do you consider it a progress?
No, hold on. What's your thoughts about this bill? That was never done. She never asked me. Nobody in the ministry never asked me. Perhaps I see somewhere in the media say there is a gender bill. I have not seen it yet. I don't know what it contains.
Okay.
But what I know is that there was a challenge when I was minister for us to have a gender bill. Because there is a section in the Constitution where they limit waiting at the Yerisi and the try for do now.
Okay.
And that section is section 27. And there's another section again, not the Constitution again, where they also limit any form of discrimination based on your sex. It is there in the Constitution. So until that section in the Constitution is changed, I think off the top of my head, I think it's 27D. I will have to check on it.
Will you be
Until it is changed, I don't know how they're going to be able to get affirmative action bill.
As a Sierra Leonean, a woman yourself, you don't be the first woman, you know, student union leader. You don't be minister, like you say, of gender. You've been supporting women. Will you be willingly ready to give these opinions out for address the issues there or support the gender bill? Are you, as a Sierra Leonean and a woman yourself?
Of course, why not? But you see, the point is you have to be careful here.
Okay, they need to consult you first?
I'm not the minister.
No, I'm asking us. No, I'm not asking you.
I'm not the minister. But,
yeah,
I have the experience of knowing why we failed, why we could not do it.
But there are people who've given their opinions on this bill. Them don't put on a public, waiting and think.
I don't see these billets. You don't see them?
I don't see the billets, but I'm saying there's been engagement. There are women with organizations that we don't give their opinion on them. Like their opinion, how they say so.
You see, all I can tell you is my experience. Why we could not do it. There is a section in the Sierra Leone Constitution.
You ready to provide this experience pro bono to the ministry?
Why not? Come on.
But they need to approach you first.
No, you see, the issue here is not a matter of they need to approach you first. You don't just grab and go begin bulldoze inside somebody's territory. Because this is a situation where one day I just sit down, people then begin call me and say, oh, look, the new minister, them picking and they protest against them. He say, nah, for Sylvia Blyden's sake, make from 4 years ago, where Sylvia Blyden then picking and get problem. Look, the story in a government website. So I was stunned. I go on the website, I go read, I was like, what do you mean do this woman? So
I make you to be careful now.
So you have to be very careful.
Okay. Doc, the issue about women supporting women, you know, women they within our politics, women they within our business and how them call them. On record, you know, woman we don't get a lot of issues with other women them. In politics, Zainab Bangura, you're having issues with the mayor now. Is it your personality or you know a other person self come out as and Bongo say myself a popular politician?
You see, this is not the propaganda way they put out. Where most people that know me, they can just dismiss and laugh. Because when you are talking about any woman who don't support woman in position of authority, that woman, there's nobody.
You don't support Pastor Man?
When Haja Hafsatu Kaba was almost destroyed in this country, and no woman stood up for her, they almost destroyed that woman in this country. I was the woman who stood by her, Haja Hafsatu Kaba. The female Chief Justice, Umu Hawati Janjalo, when she was appointed Chief Justice, the turmoil with that woman they faced, the turbulence she faced, had it not been for me and my newspaper, standing by her, protecting her every step of the way, she would not have made it through as Chief Justice of the Republic.
Okay.
So Sincerely, the examples abound of my support.
Why do you don't make
hold
about it now?
Hold on. Allow me for the land.
Okay, go ahead.
The examples abound of my support for women. But you know that the problem can come if people want to be honest. We all want to be president of Sierra Leone.
Okay, it's about political ambition.
Hold on. We all want to be president of Sierra Leone. Me get the self-confidence, say, if God say I will be president, I will be president. They don't have the self-confidence. So what thing they do? And they go shumo against me in a corner, then they whisper.
And they congosa you.
Yeah, no, you go and poe me name. This REF talk, for example, go and talk, but me then lie talk there for poe me name in a corner, go to the international community, go to diplomat, kongosaya. So they do these things as a way of pulling me down. I don't do that. I'm upfront. I got opinion about you, I say it upfront.
Okay.
So that's the difference between me and them. Everybody wants to be president. They all get different routes where they want for you.
Will you support another female flag bearer within your party if she's given?
Take, for example, the name I just called you, Haja Hafsatou Kaba. Before they destroyed her or tried to destroy her, if she had stood up to be president, she would have received 100%.
Now, they talk about the recent time now. Say Mayor of Freetown.
Wait. If she had stood up to contest, she would have received 100% support from me.
Okay.
Because she would have deserved the 100% support from me. Before they can get all kind of case. So the issue of me not supporting women, now rubbish. You go down na Abacha Street, you go na Garrison Street, you go down na Dovecourt, you go and you ask the ordinary woman, and they will tell you it's a
So I'm asking now, which one of the most popular women they want to get now on a party with the mayor of Freetown, Ivona Kisoya?
Well, we all then I saw this BNTM on I see the exchanges, and since she's not here for defending.
No, I'm asking. No, I'm asking if you can support. You go support someone. No, I'm not asking you for an opinion on impersonality. You can't to the point where you say you know go talk back because you know they. I'm asking about whether you could support a woman like her if she comes up to be say I want to be flag bearer of the APC of which you are a party.
You saw the recent exchanges. You saw the recent email. You saw the recent WhatsApp. So asking me to give my opinion now when she's not here, it's disingenuous.
Okay.
It's not fair.
You go support a woman within the APC party if they come up for the flag bearer?
It's a very strange question because I would support anybody who is competent, man or woman.
Okay.
Who is competent.
No, I'm asking specifically with a woman within the party where you say for and be flag bearer.
Man or woman. I'm just
no, with a woman will you will support.
Of course. I mean, come on, I don't give you after to Kaba example. Okay. I don't give you. Look, I don't have a problem, for example, with the mayor of Makeni. Then there was an issue where happened where they want to scandalize them and take them out of context. I was right there by her side, supporting her and attacking and neutralizing. A lot of people want me to try for damage the woman. So this is the mayor of Makeni. You don't come and you tell me now that somebody, they go and poe me name in a corner.
Who done somebody? You mean the mayor?
I'm just giving you an example.
No, I'm asking as well.
Somebody, they go and poe
the mayor, they poe name.
And then you can't tell me now, say, when that person, they poe me name.
No, I'm not telling you, now ask you. Me not tell. No, me not tell, now ask you, dog. And I ask if you
tell me now, say, oh, that kind of person that can get blind support. No, it doesn't.
So the mayor, now the person where they go and kongosa you?
No, I would not talk about the mayor.
No, I'm not saying, but now you just say me they ask you for lay support somebody, and the mayor, now the person you had already phrased.
No. You went back again to the issue of women.
Okay.
You asked me over and over if I would support a woman.
Okay.
I don't tell you, say, well, even when the mayor of Makeni, Sunkari, had the problem few months ago, and people wanted to take that issue out of
So context. What's clear, you not go support somebody with the Kungusa you?
Oh, if somebody is going out of their way for destroying my political standing, talk to them about me when I lies, call me RUF when I lie, and bring this situation, because you know when somebody half-baked person call you RUF, you not be seen, but somebody credible call you RUF, this is just, it's demonic. You know, it's wickedness.
Finally, Dorcas, we try for round up. Will you want to commend President Bill for the repeal of Part 5 of the seditious libel law and also the expunging or the death penalty for Pulam Nawi law books and all that? You want to commend him for some of his legal reforms and policies? Do you want to commend him?
Well, then two day where you don't mention. I think the law will allow time to see if not a good step they take. Because it is easy to just jump forward and comment.
But the commitment to do it.
It is easy, but it's easy to come forward and just comment. Oh, you don't pull the death penalty, clap, clap, clap. Oh, you don't pull the repeal of criminal libel, clap, clap, clap. Let me see the effect first. Because I don't want to rush to commend some of these actions. You need to be able to...
Should I consider you a journalist?
I'm a journalist, I'm a medical doctor,
Okay.
I'm a civil society activist, I'm a businesswoman, I'm an ICT consultant, I'm a website developer. I am a whole lot of things.
You are a politician as well.
Oh, big time too.
Okay. So do you appreciate the repeal of Part 5 of the law? This is a journalist. You have done suffer from at some point.
Well, when somebody wants for abusing powers, you can take any law for abusing power.
Okay.
Take that young man Abu, where then they abuse them power against that young man right now, Michael Mansari. This is an abuse of power. Then jail him for 8 months. He's coming out, I think, in the next 2 weeks or so, in 8 months, what's done. So anybody who abuse power, you can abuse that using any law. You know the law where they use that cocaine law for lockout for Panadol.
Okay.
So anybody wants for abuse in authority, for sure saying, I mean a president, I mean a powerful, I mean a this, you can use any law and abuse them. So the criminal libel law was just one of the laws that can be used.
But you appreciate that it was repealed?
No, I didn't say that. I said we have to give time. We have to give time and see the effects of
finally, Doc, what's your assessment? You know, many people looking at ask them about President Bill. What's your general assessment of in leadership, the country status presently, economy, development, laws and all that, politics and governance? What's your assessment?
President Bill don't make a lot of mistakes.
Has there been progress?
And then mistakes, then are mistakes where it would be difficult for them to get over them.
Isn't some of them mistakes here? You don't mention them for a very long time now.
The incident, Miron arrest, for example, that's a huge mistake on his part. The arrest and detention of me, the way I was treated as a woman, that's a massive mistake we don't make. And I don't see how we go able to overcome that kind of mistake the way we make. The second one is the incident at the Pademba Road prison. The prisoners. And the way that issue was handled, the way the SIPP women's leader can talk, these are huge monumental mistakes.
Okay.
You take again the issue of, there's a lot of mistakes.
Do you think there's been progress apart from the mistakes? Has there been any progress?
Progress on what?
On, say, its leadership style, national cohesion, you know, developing the country, the free quality education. We just talked about the gender bill. And before we come on here, I just see tweets say, then the Angolina parliament proposed bill where go allow dual citizens for you know, contest for being members of parliament.
Let me tell you what I think say they go on. I always tell people that President Bill is a smart man. And he don't realize he don't make so many mistakes. He's trying to make up for this mistake by taking what he thinks are populist actions.
Okay.
So for example, this tweet where they talk about, myself just see him and I shake my head. Because Sierra Leone therefore look at the reasons why certain laws were passed. The issue of dual citizenship, sitting in parliament, and by extension, being able to be elected president of Sierra Leone is dangerous.
You get disagreements with that as well?
Oh, yes.
Okay. We go need for time for discuss that.
It's dangerous. And why it is dangerous is it's the national security aspect.
Okay.
I would draw your attention to when somebody, they go be an American citizen. The American government, they force you. Then they force you for take an oath. And that oath, the way they take, then they tell you, say, that you form a country, Sierra Leone. Any issue come up between Sierra Leone and America is number one. In fact, you will disown all loyalty to that former country.
Okay.
Now you take somebody like that, we don't take that kind of oath there. You can't put her, say he get the ability for be elected and take decisions on behalf of Sierra Leone. It's a national security threat.
Okay.
And they have not looked at these issues properly. We're not there against dual citizenship, no. Are not they against even dual citizenship coming to serve in governance? Are they against dual citizens coming to hold sensitive positions and taking decisions in the parliament, in the cabinet, in the presidency, or the inspector general of police position, or the chief of army staff position, or the immigration head position? These are sensitive positions.
Finally, Doc, what do you think?
Don't put a dual citizen there.
Okay. Finally, Doc, what do you think about the free quality education?
I don't know what you mean by that. It's a bit broad-based.
No, I mean and, the policy and implementation as well. You know, the president, they talk about a lot about these projects, these 9 flagship projects, about getting people educated, especially the kids. What do you think about that?
One of the reasons we make some people in the APC vex by me one day. Now we praise President Bill. I personally wrote and I praised him on something where he do, which is the free scholarship to waiting they can call STEM, that is science, technical, engineering, mathematics and medicine. And I praised him. I said, this is fantastic because this is the way forward for fast-track development in Sierra Leone.
And you still hold on to that?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. You see, the Manning vision is intact. In terms of free quality education. The vision, it is in place. What he wants to do, where he's trying to take the country, that is getting the next cadre of generation where they come up for be well equipped for compete. Because the whole thing is if you don't educate the next generation, how they go compete with other countries, their own next generation. Then picking away the Kenya right now. 5, 6, 7 years, they all don't get tablets, they don't begin using them. We on Pikine, then they upline a dirty block, a school where they leak. And so if you not pay attention, you not invest in them Pikine, then how they will compete? Where you go don't die go? How them Pikine they can compete now with the next generation of Kenyans, the next generation of Americans. So President Bio in vision, it's applaudable. It is wonderful. It is excellent. The vision is there.
Okay.
But the implementation.
Okay. Now you get problem with.
There.
Okay.
I think all man get problem with the implementation.
Over 100. How much you go give President Bill in 3 years?
I don't think the man don't make so many mistakes that he's going to.
How much you go give him?
If they lost the 2023 elections.
So how much you go give him out of 100?
That means if they lost the 2023 elections, it means to say they're below 50%.
Below 50, 30, 20, 40.
Well, until you don't say that 3 years, so we have another 2 years more. Let's see
how much you go give him these 3 years? Below 50. How much you go give him?
Definitely below 50.
How much that go be? 49? 49 a pass, oh?
No, not pass, not pass.
49 a pass?
No, not pass. No, definitely.
So how much you go give him before below 50? How much you go give him? If you call figure number.
Well, I look at pass mark for election because when you go on off, you need 50 plus 1.
Okay.
So now that let me look.
Okay.
Say,
so now make you see game below 50.
Is it below 50? Then it's clear.
Okay.
That's some other one deny, but this man it don't make so many mistakes.
Finally, Doc, I just want to watch this clip quick. I just want to let me produce and just play the clip quickly. Then we round up. Okay. Quickly, let them just play parts of Family we see.
Okay.
According to Superintendent MK Aliu, this is the 3rd visit to the residence of the former Minister of Social Welfare, Gender and Children's Affairs by the police. First was the arrest, second was the attempt, together with Dr. Sylvia Olainka Blyden and her lawyer, to do a further search on the residence, which was fruitless. And the third is this one, accompanied by a warrant and members of the press to witness the search.
In the course of the investigation, we got a tip-off that indeed there's a particular room for which something is being hidden there by the very Dr. Sylvia Blyden. So we should go back. And we, the police, we act upon intelligence. Information. Police cannot succeed without the cooperation of informants, members of the public. That's the more reason we came here day for yesterday, together with her lawyer, Mr. Lansana Dumbuya. So I made a consultation with my boss, AIG Crime Services, Mr. Bremaja. Mr. Bremaja spoke with Mr. Lansana Dumbuya and my very self advised that we should go back. So we went back without entering the house because there was no key on that day. Mr. Bremaja spoke with Sylvia Blyden the following day. Since that time, she has been so hostile with us. Very hostile. She complains sick. We prepare a medical report form for her to be taken to police medical hospital. She refused, claiming that our hospital has corona. We asked her, call upon your doctor. She declined. So today, we met her and asked her, we are coming here to conduct search. She refused to come. She said, except we bundle her in a sack. She said, no, We cannot handle you like that. We respect human rights. That's the more reason my head of CID, Mr. J.K. Alpha, asked that we should contact independent body, inclusive the media. So we invited AYV, representative is here, the media team from the Sierra Leone police, they too are here.
The search lasted for about 2 hours, with police retrieving phones, laptops and documents, which the lead investigator, Superintendent M.K. Aliu, says are pertinent to the detention of the retired Major Paulo Conte, another former minister.
We don't complete the search in the presence of severe blinding in Bobowe 11 at the house, in the presence of Colin Khalidou Jallow. If we don't deal with we, all throughout, we conduct the search. And this is now one of the things that was seen at this woman place. Again, for go tell we don't have this person, which president is, for now, let's go tell we. Now, one of the exhibits they will put now with mobile phones, laptop computers, and certain documents we pertaining to the detention of retired Major Paulo Conte, and then at this fire. So we therefore go confront her now with them and see how they.
Well, that's now, you know, they tell them go do search na use. You've been so in love with former President Nkrumah that you get a picture of him na use. You get portraits of him, and it was arrested too as an evidence. You know, our relationship been tight, right?
You're coming back again to the same issue.
No, I'm just asking on that. I see that they arrest him for toll, and you know, somebody where you've been so gets good relationship with.
Amadou, there is nothing in this world that is permanent except God.
Okay.
Nothing is permanent except God.
Is there the possibility for you to come together again to make peace? If there is that opportunity, will you grab it?
Amadou, I think the issue here is an issue of strong divergence in the way democracy should operate in Sierra Leone.
Okay.
The way democracy for operates in Sierra Leone, not also it operates right now.
Okay.
It's unfortunate, but all the democratic indices where we country we don't enjoy. You know, we don't reach stage in this world where Obama wants to talk about democracy, he called Salone. When he wants to talk about democracy, he called Sierra Leone. We don't reach that stage. Salone with democratic credentials, we don't right up. And why? Because women get an effective opposition. That thing, if you remember, then John Benjamin as chairman and leader, they called press conference, they gather them weekly press briefing, then they attack issues, then can get the members of parliament self, the one where they're not able for whatever, the 2-3 women, they don't mean vocal, like this one where they're as clerk of parliament, now Parantarawali. You had these people who were vocal, competent, and out there under the leadership of who was the leader of the opposition then.
Okay.
For a democracy for be functional, vibrant, stay Obama the president, the opposition self play role.
Finally.
If the opposition not play role, democracy not there. So when the country in democratic credentials all don't drop, with human rights credentials, with freedom credentials, with democratic credentials, not matter beyond no more, the opposition self fail.
Okay. Finally, Doc, what do you think about the opposition members them now in a parliament? They have get a responsibility. You think that they played their role? You think they've been effective? They've been playing their part?
No, they have not been.
Okay, they failed you as a party. They failed the people.
They failed democracy, definitely.
Okay. Dr. Sylvia Blyden, thanks very much. What's in your next ambition? When will you be declaring for? Will you be declaring for any position within the APC, or when did they launch your presidential bid?
The presidential bid will be launched when the time is right, and that is not now.
Okay, not even 2023?
Well, I say it is not now.
Okay.
And the reason
not
why
soon?
I say it is not now, and I don't even think land.
Okay, land. Go ahead.
The reason why I say it is not now is because as an experienced politician, certain things that where you look at and you know say the nation not ripe for this particular thing, or the nation ripe for this particular thing. And one of them is the aspect of religion.
Okay.
Honestly, people, whether they want to accept them or not, but I think the Muslims will make up almost 70% or more of the populace. Since Tijan Kaba left, there have not been a Muslim president. And people don't want to accept them, but it is going to be an issue in 2023.
Hey, former President Nkrumah was Christian. Mother Bill is Christian,
yes,
and they won. Is it not about your credentials and what you will be presenting about your religion?
Let me say people will deny it as much as they want, but the aspect
you
of
think that will
religion,
be a decision in the next election?
big time.
What about regions, tribes, and?
Believe you me, all of them are going to be factors, but religion, the Muslims in 2023, they are going to.
Are you saying the Muslims do not believe in you? If they think that you could be a very good leader, they will not support or vote for you?
Well, it's going to be a factor.
Okay.
I'm not saying that they don't believe in me. I'm saying it's going to be a factor. I come from a family where my great-great-grandpa named Bill Fulatong Mosque.
Okay.
Named Bill Amaraya School, the Muslim school.
You got good Muslims, so why not give it a try?
I grew up in a house who say all me daddy and auntie they women. They read the Quran, Al-Fatiha, all of them. They were Christians, but Fulatong, everybody they read Al-Fatiha and all these surahs.
You are well connected. You get the Fulatong, you get the Fulbe connection. You get Kailau as well.
Western area,
where Kailau? You are Siakisi.
Mountain Rural District, Freetown Central, Mountain.
Well, you get Kailau as well. You know Siakisi. Then so why not give it a try? Or you're not ready? It's not, you're not ready. The presidential ambition.
So I don't tell you, say, a presidency is not just a grab in the morning and say, I want to be president. It is something you plan towards. And you look at various indices, you look at various issues, you look at various points. One thing that a president needs is to understand the different areas of Sierra Leone, then cultural differences.
Okay.
So you not go come up from Freetown, you don't understand the people in the Falaba, then cultural issues.
Okay.
You don't understand the people in the Kamakwe, then cultural issues. You don't understand the people in the Sorogbema, then cultural issues. You have to be able to know all of these things.
So you studied and the first?
Oh, yes. Oh, okay. Big time.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sylvia Olainka Blyden, Siakisi.
Siakisi. I'm very proud of my Kisi heritage. They adopted me in August 2013. Okay. And since that time, it's been all systems go.
Okay. You get a very strong root yonder as well.
And they pay me chiefdom tax regularly. And they pay me Kailan local tax regularly. So I'm part of
your party no allow you for participating in elections recently.
And they afraid me because they no say.
What are they afraid you, Ernest Nkrumah?
Well, Ernest Nkrumah not denied for me for answer that
question. Thank you very much, Dr. Sylvia Blyden. It has been a very interesting discussion, on all the hot seats. It is a pleasure having you. Hopefully, we'll get you in subsequent edition. You get a lot of issues we get for discuss, where you go decide back for. I hope this silence so you don't break, so it's going to be continuous.
Oh, yes, all the way now. Take go.
Okay. You plan for be the main voice for the opposition now?
I would not be that arrogant.
Okay.
By saying that's arrogance of the worst order, but I definitely plan to be one of the voices opposing in a democratic state.
Opposing the APC and the ruling party.
Well, opposing for us to get a functional democracy.
Okay.
It has to function. With democracy for function, Amadou.
Thank you very much.
Otherwise, we're at risk.
Thank you very much, Dr. Blyden. I will get you some other time. Well, thanks for your time. Dr. Sylvia Blyden, our guest again at the program today. Plenty thanks to now with them way don't they with we. A lot of people be don't they look forward to this program. And thanks for joining our Facebook page as well. Una within our house and they watch we from anywhere. Thanks to the technical team for we support the program. Mina Amadou Lamgana Ba, hot seats they continue next week. Continue for watching YV.